Lotte Giants of the Korea Baseball Organization have had a great start to the 2023 season so far. The Busan-based club currently sits second in the standings, and at one point they managed to go on a 9-game winning streak, something which they haven't been able to do for over 14 years. It's still early in the season, but they look on course to make it to the postseason for the first time since 2017 as well. Helming the team on this remarkable run is the former major leaguer Larry Sutton. He was appointed the manager of the Giants in May 2021, but he was already very familiar with the KBO, having played in the league in 2005 to 2007. I'm delighted to say that he joins us now via video for this week's Touch Base in Seoul. Mr. Sutton, hello, and thank you for being on the show today.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yes, it's great to have you with us. How do we find you today, Mr. Sutton? I imagine that we find you in a great mood, considering how well the team have been performing so far.
We are. We traveled. We finished our game in our series in Suwon yesterday. We finished the week on a strong note. We traveled to Daejeon. We have a 3-game series with Hanwha. So today's an off day, a recovery day for the staff, for the players. I myself, I'm neck deep in preparation for the next 3 games. I got papers all around me, so it's a nonstop 24/7 type of job.
Well, it sounds like still at least you're getting today off a little bit, not on the field, but I'm sure you're also in a great mood because I heard it was your birthday over the weekend as well.
It was a special birthday. I got to celebrate it with my Lotte family, the staff and the players, the organization. They had a big old birthday cake that was presented to me right before the game yesterday. We had a chance to just celebrate it together, which is very special. And my goodness, what a great birthday gift with an incredible team win yesterday. So it was a solid day overall.
Well, congratulations on your birthday, and also just how well the season's been going so far. I think it's fair to say at the start of the season, there weren't a lot of pundits who would have predicted this kind of form. What do you think has contributed to it? Have you been doing anything different this year?
I think the success, if you really want to peel the onion back, the success of what we're seeing early this season is a culmination of 3 years of growth. And so we've had a strong core of veteran players with the Lotte team, but we've also, over the last 3 years, we've been able to scout and develop a core group of young prospects that are now, this year, impacting our major league team. And then also, during the offseason, we were able to be aggressive in the FA market. We were able to signed 3 FAs. We've also added to our roster some veteran players and with our bullpen and a few position players. So it's not just one thing that's helping us attribute the success that we're seeing right now. It's a culmination of a lot of things. We've been able to shore up on our defense, our center line, center fielder, shortstop, second base, catcher, to really solidify our defense that is help stabilize and help us really be consistently good on defense. We've been able to create depth in our roster with our pitching, our bullpen, our position player on the bench. And then to see everybody play the way we're playing, it's nurturing all of this within a championship culture. And so adding everything together, we're seeing the fruits of a lot of hard work over the last 3 years.
Right, so everything just seems to be coming together then on various fronts, and it's very impressive. What have you been telling your players? How do you keep them focused on this run? How do you keep them grounded?
Well, I think, there's a lot of similarities between Major League Baseball culture and the KBO baseball culture. There's a lot of similarities, and it deals with human beings. And so I think the important thing, at least in my opinion, one of the most important things is developing a relationship, developing that trust factor. Yes, I am the manager, and yes, we have a great coaching staff that are providing leadership for the team. But developing those relationships where we know when to push the players, we know when to pull them back a little bit, trying to get the best out of every single one of them, utilizing their strengths, not so much focusing on their weakness. Our language, our communication is built upon what they do best. And yes, we're trying to help them improve their game every single day, but everything starts with a relationship. And when the players can trust you, me as the manager, and trust our coaching staff, we're able to get the best out of them collectively as a team.
So would you say that's probably one of your strengths then, that you would describe yourself potentially as an approachable manager?
I think one of my key strengths is empathy. I understand, especially being here in Korea. I've played in the KBO for 3 years. I do have some experience as a player at the major league level back in the States. I've been a big part on the development side as a coach in the United States with the Kansas City Royals, the Pittsburgh Pirates. I've seen and helped, be a small part of building a championship culture. So bringing that experience here to Korea with the same vision, with the same idea is our organization, starting with our GM, our CEO, and our GM. Having that understanding tool, I'm able to relate to the players, at least in my opinion, relate to the players and build the trust. I'm not some foreigner that's come into Korea and have no idea what the baseball culture is like or what the Korean culture is like. I truly understand. I've lived it. I respect it. And I'm certainly not trying to change it. But, ideally, it's taking the best of both baseball cultures and making our own Lotte championship culture.
Right, it's been quite a road for you with Lotte, it seems. Success, it hasn't come overnight. So you joined back in 2019, initially as manager of the minor league, I understand, and then you became the manager of the main team 2 years ago now. What initially brought you to Korea, or should I say, what brought you back to Korea? Because as we said, you did play in the KBO before.
It was a previous relationship with our GM, Min. He approached me with a conversation. He was taking over the general manager job for the Lotte Giants, and he just shared a vision of what he wanted to do, what he wanted to accomplish, building the championship culture, building a championship organization, and bringing back the winning ways into Busan, where they have such a rich tradition in baseball. And so as we continued our conversation, the idea of building the championship culture, not from the top down, but building it from the ground up, really intrigued me quite a bit. I have had experience in organizations in the United States, so I have an idea of what it looks like, focusing on the important things. And so we rolled up our sleeves and went to work, starting with the futures team, our organization. We've done an incredible job revamping our scouting department, our development department, our R&D department. How we utilize technology and data has brought Lotte into where the current baseball system is today, what we're seeing in the United States as well as here in KBO. And so, being able to implement all of that and creating a strong foundation for our organization where young amateur players, when we receive them, they can thrive and they can develop. And so the second part to that was being able to get on the same page with the coaching staff on the future side, helping them understand with their experience that they bring, but helping them understand how to teach differently. Instead of just teaching one way, can we take the same subject and teach it 5 different ways of using, technology, training it differently, talking about it differently. The idea is to try and get the most value out of every single player that we draft and sign, and so that they can reach their full, maximum capability, whether that's playing 15 years at the major league level or whether that's staying in the futures team and maybe playing only a week at the futures with the first team, depending on what ability and talents they have. But we really needed to maximize the talent that we were bringing into the organization. And our coaching staff, futures team, and the major league team, we've done an incredible job with that with all of our players.
How much do you think it's helped that you had this previous experience in the KBO playing from 2005 to 2007? I believe you even led the KBO with 35 home runs in 2005. But how do you think that has contributed to your role now? And how has the KBO changed during that time as well?
The playing experience that I have gives me a strong understanding of what the Korean players go through on a daily basis. You know, what their routines are, what the traveling routines are, what the KBO schedule, how it's set up, so a lot of that experience does help. Now, as I sit in the manager's seat and I wear the manager's hat, I understand what they're going through. But more importantly, the relationships that I developed, my teammates, when I played the 2 years with the Hyundai Unicorns and then my last year with the Kia Tigers, it was through the relationships with my teammates that I really understood how the Korean baseball culture, how it thrives, where it struggles, the communication between coaching staff and players, how coaching staffs try to get the best out of the Korean players. And so I'm not criticizing, I'm not saying what I saw was a bad way or if it was a good way, but I was able to see the landscape of how Korean baseball players receive information, how they think about information, and how they engage within communication with the coaching staff and with each other. And so now that experience that I have as a manager, I think is a big strength, not only for me, but as I lead our coaching staff, helping them grow. So, you know, we have an incredible coaching staff this year. But in my mind's eye is I have an idea that the pitching coach or the bench coach or our catching coach, they have a vision in the future that maybe they want to become a KBO manager someday or, you know, working in the front office. So how can I help them grow? How can I help them understand how to communicate differently with players or with front office or, you know, just amongst ourselves? And I think, again, it goes back to the relationships of trust, where when you're able to share information and there's a mutual trust between the two people that are involved, you're going to get the best idea to help the organization continue to grow. So it has helped. That experience that you're talking about has helped immensely.
Well, we are starting to run out of time, but looking ahead now then, what are your aims for the rest of the season? I'm assuming playoffs will be on your mind already, considering the start. How confident are you about keeping this run going?
We set out a goal 3 years ago, and the goal is still the same this year when we talked about it in spring training, and that's to win the Korean Series, to win the championship. So, you know, if our standard is excellence every single day, the way we prepare, the way we train, we know that sometimes it's not achievable, but at the same time, it keeps us moving 1% better every single day. And so, yes, our goal is not just to get into the playoffs. We want to bring the trophy, the championship trophy, back to Busan. We have an incredible fan base. There's a really strong winning tradition there. More importantly, or I should say maybe not more importantly, but something that coincides with that as well is, you know, we also set out a goal of how can we create an organization where we're achieving sustainable success? And we're on the right road to that. We're developing younger talent where they're impacting our major league team. And so instead of looking at 1 year and our goal is to win the Korean Series, but how can we achieve sustainable success over the next 5, 10, 15 years is also one of our goals.
I'm sure the fans will be very excited to hear what you've said there as well. As you said, the Lotte Giants, they have a very passionate fan base. Very briefly, very quickly, any final message that you have to them?
To the fan base, they're incredible. We're seeing more and more show up. We've had sold-out stadiums, you know, in Suwon, in Changwon. When we're on the road, in Jamsil, in Seoul, the Lotte fans are coming out to support us, and it's like a rock star event. I love it. The players draw from the energy, and you know we give 100% for them so that we can, you know, get the winning result, and it's amazing when we're able to achieve that.
Well, good luck for the rest of the season. Hopefully we'll speak to you again soon. We've been speaking to Larry Sutton, manager of the Lotte Giants. Thank you once again for your time today. We very much appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.